We look like such twins.
I know. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness. Um, Hello, friends. I am Diane Tarantini, and I am here with Kimberly King, and we are slightly, no, make that really intensely jacked up about the hashtag Epstein files. Are you jacked up, Kimberly?
I'm completely, yeah, beyond. And I've read too many emails, and I was just telling Diane I have to put a stop to it for a bit because it's really overwhelming.
Yes, you've actually gotten on the platform that's been created called jmail.com.
Yeah, I've been into it. It's pretty easy to get to, and it has emails and all sorts of documents and journals and pictures and just and it's it's very organized, but there's like 3 million things in there, so I've only read a few things and that has been enough for me. But I think I wanted to get on here with you because if I'm feeling that way and I'm feeling like putting my head in the sand, I'm sure that everybody else is all like probably like, I can't, I don't want to know. I don't want to know the details. I don't want to,
Right.
I don't want to see that trauma. Like, these poor women, these poor kids. But
Yeah.
we thought we'd talk
Um,
about it today a little bit, because
yeah, so
actually,
between the two of us, I think we know a lot. So we
yeah,
know about child safety. I read Virginia Giuffre's memoir, which is she's one of the most forward-facing survivors who completed suicide allegedly last year. You've been in the J mail land,
I've been in the
and
mail.
we've just consumed so much content just through what people are putting out. Some of our favorite content creators, and we'll link to that later. But what we do on Mom Unity podcast is we try to inform and educate people on how to keep their kids safe.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are asking me, probably you too, how does this happen to a kid?
Yeah. It takes a lot of deep breaths. I
Yes.
think, Diane, it would be great to talk about like how this process happens, the
Yeah.
grooming behaviors. And so I think we can just, one of the things I saw online this week was like, well, how did these parents let this happen? Like, where were the dads? Where were the moms? And so
Yeah.
when a child and a family is being groomed, it is quite a process. And
Yes.
so these people, they target specific categories of people. So usually it's going to be people on the fringe, people on the edge, like maybe people that are living in poverty, maybe kids that are going through family change, maybe it's a child who's already been sexually abused, and they are targeting, anybody that fits a certain mold, and then they go for it, right? I mean, they start the
Yes.
grooming process. So we can talk, I think it would be really helpful to share some of the grooming techniques that Epstein and his entire organization used. And I know it's just not him, but a whole team of people, how they got these girls on airplanes and on this island and
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
places.
We have lots of thoughts.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
so what we know about predator behavior is, like you've mentioned, they're going to profile kids that are easy marks. I saw this just a very simple social media image that might have been the beginning of a carousel, and it said one of the like first indicators to a predator is a polite kid, a kid that doesn't say stop or speak loudly, that says yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, please, thank you. So if you have kids that are pretty beaten down, a lot of times they're going to be really acquiescent,
mhm.
just super easy to mold to your evil agendas.
Yeah.
So, like you said, they literally, we've heard the story of Ghislaine Maxwell, like cruising the streets of West Palm Beach after school. And she would look probably for the kids that are dressed a little shabbily, um, who maybe were like taking the bus to less than ideal neighborhoods. So they
Yeah.
profile them that way. And then they offer money. That's like one of the easiest ways to get a child, especially an under resourced child,
Yeah.
to pay attention, right?
Yeah, so like under the disguise of like, oh well, you're so beautiful, you should be a model. Or like, oh my goodness, you're so good at art. I think I could help pay for like this amazing art teacher, but you know
Yes,
what, you'd have to come to my ranch to get access to that art teacher. Or, things like that, like things that parents want to believe, things that kids want to believe, things that seem too good to
good
be
to
true.
be true.
Hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, yeah. So one thing that Virginia Giuffre talked about in her book Nobody's Girl was that very early on, like after they've offered a job, her daddy actually met with Epstein,
Yeah.
and he probably presented as very respectable, very affluent,
Yeah.
and that would charm someone with less means. Um, she would go to the Epstein compound and just in the kitchen fussing around getting sweet tea or whatever you, like Ghislaine Maxwell would start asking questions about the home life.
Yeah.
And Virginia, just to have somebody care or be interested
Yeah.
after like hectic home life where
Sure.
everybody's just like doing their own thing. um she confessed that she'd been abused by her her relatives, her dad's best friend. And so we know from the work we do, we know that kids who have experienced child sexual abuse, they basically have an invisible target
Yeah.
on their little chest or back that these predators have this sixth sense for. And
Yeah.
so if a child has already been touched inappropriately, um, they have less resistance
Yeah.
to having it happen again.
And then probably more, they're more likely to really receive any type of compliment or love and
Yes,
care or anything positive that would perhaps build their self-esteem and make them feel worthy. That's part of the grooming process too, like making somebody feel special, giving somebody gifts, giving them attention, finding
yeah,
common interests, all of that. And then when that's coupled with the sexual abuse history, it's really a toxic combination. Um, so it's like it's two-tiered. It's the parents who don't know about the grooming process at all, and then these kids that have become targets. So
right.
basically, I mean, it's sad. It's really sad that we don't know and we don't teach the grooming process to parents and children, because I think had some of this been common knowledge, maybe somebody could have identified it and, avoided it before it happened. But we talk about poverty, right? And there are literally children and families that have absolutely no money. And when offered
Right.
a job like a masseuse, even though it
Yeah.
sounds a little bit too good to be true, and maybe it starts off like you're just a masseuse, you can believe that these things that seem amazing, you can believe them if a person is
Yeah. And these
charismatic
girls,
and
like from the get go, they give the massage, it goes to another level, and
yeah,
then they're given $300.
yeah,
That has to feel like incredible riches.
yeah.
And so they come back. Some of the girls that I watch, like you can go to YouTube and
Go to
just search
YouTube.
for Epstein survivor videos. And they literally felt that this was their way out of poverty.
Yeah,
This is how I can get out of my parents' house where, you know, dad's drunk all day and mom's high on meth or what have
yeah.
you. Just really sad stories. And they just kept putting up with it because it was a way out of their
Hmm.
own personal hell. Um, so that's how it happens.
Yeah, that's how you get a 14-year-old on an airplane, with promises of things better or things not as bad, like,
Right,
which
right.
is awful.
So my friend, I worked at a nonprofit, and my boss there said, I just don't understand um, how you get a 13-year-old kid in Ohio or Kentucky to New York City or to an island in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So I have a theory.
Tell me.
Because I've been doing this independent journalism like for over a year now. you and I have both watched, and it might have been a year ago. There is a YouTube video, it's about 30 minutes long, with Katie Johnson. I believe that's a pseudonym, um, who was sexually assaulted allegedly by the President of the United States. And she um, launched a lawsuit against him, but backed off when he threatened to kill her and her entire family. But you have an interview with her where she just says, like, what a typical day looked like for her.
Yeah.
And one thing I noted was that a woman named Tiffany was always present. And she would say, just do what Mr. Trump tells you. It'll be okay. I'm right over here. Mr. Trump doesn't like germs, so make sure you use a condom. And I believe this, to me, this sounds like a chaperone or a handler. Don't you
Hmm.
think?
Yeah. And I'm sure, like, to make this whole Epstein organization function, it had to be more than him. Obviously, there were a team of people that acted in this recruiting, and then also the girls, once they became part of this life and became trapped, then
Yeah.
they could actually avoid some of these quote unquote duties by recruiting other girls.
Such a heartbreak. Yeah.
So it's really tough, which is why we wanted to just, come on here and talk about some of the ways to learn about grooming behavior, to identify it and to get ahead of it. So I think we've talked about a few techniques and strategies. What else can we say to people about preventing this kind of thing? Like, what about just teaching body safety in general? Because that's
Yes.
one thing, you know, when a child is sexually abused and that's part of their life, they might not know that that's wrong.
Right.
So if another adult tries to do the same thing, they still might not know it's wrong, right? So we have to talk about body safety, what it is, our body boundaries, our body parts, and really help train our children on how to use their voice if something feels unsafe or uncomfortable.
Yeah. And I think it's so important. I think we assume that kids come into the world with certain information in their head. Like it's not
Yeah.
okay for a child to have sex with an adult. And we just can't assume that. I think, and I've said it in body safety assemblies, if a grown up has sex with you, young people who are in middle school,
Yes.
it's a crime.
A crime. Right.
You are under the legal age of consent,
Right.
which makes them a sexual predator and they can go to prison for what they did to you.
Right.
So we have to instill in kids um, what adults can do to them that is very, very wrong, very, very illegal.
Yeah.
And as you and I have often said in our individual social media spaces and on other podcasts, I believe like one of the most important things you can do is have at least one super honest, no question is a dumb question
Yeah.
conversation with your kid a week.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and it's never too early to start. I mean, it's Valentine's Day coming up, and so today we read a book about
In kindergarten?
Froggy's. Yeah, we read Froggy's First Kiss, and it is a story about a frog who gets kissed by another frog, and she doesn't ask, and she has a crush on it, and it makes him turn beet red, and he runs home and he gives his Valentine to his mom and all this, but like even in kindergarten you can start to introduce like
Yeah.
how an unwanted kiss is not okay, an unwanted hug is not okay. You can start to teach those lessons and have those conversations when your kids are like 3, 4, and 5 years old. There's plenty of books for that. If this feels too heavy or too hard, there are plenty of books, and we can post our
Yep.
suggested book lists on
Yep.
like consent, your book about grooming, which is basically, you should speak about that a little bit because that is a great book to have
Yeah.
at a time like this. So is the I Said No book. Like these are the books that can really help you start the conversations to keep your kids safe.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the conversations are super important. Yeah, and the signs of grooming that I cover in my book are just
Yeah.
like being asked to break your parents' rules,
Mm-hmm.
being given gifts, doing things that are physically risky,
Mm-hmm.
um, being isolated, all of these things,
All this
like from
sounds
your family and
familiar.
friends, all of these things were being done by Epstein and Maxwell,
And
and
secrets.
and
Secrets.
oh, keeping secrets.
Yeah.
Yes, really
Hmm.
bad stuff. One thing that a lot of people don't know, and I think this is part of the Epstein story, is the existence of the dark web,
Yeah.
where these people who crave these interactions with children, these immoral, unhealthy drives, they
Yeah.
find each other and they give each other pro tips.
Yeah. Pro tips, which is
Um,
part of some of
and
those emails
there's
are in.
literally a document, a guy who's incarcerated. I have it linked in one of my blog posts on grooming. He literally says, I groom the children with like love dumping,
Yep.
just like attention.
Hmm.
And I groom the parents with helpfulness.
Yeah. Right.
Um, so like when Virginia Giuffre went to work for Epstein as a massage therapist, like the parents were like thrilled, like the kid's making money,
She's
they're with
got a
the rich
job.
people, it's got to be on the up and up. If they've got money, they must be good. And it's
Hmm.
just not the truth.
No.
Listening to your gut on the parent side and on the kid side
Yeah.
is super important.
And I think also just assuming that somebody is safe because of their wealth or their
Yeah.
position is a huge mistake. And I mean, even today, separate topic, but there is a big article a town over about a teacher in Darien who was found to have possession of child sexual abuse material on his phone. And everybody's all up in arms about it. He was fired from a school in Connecticut last year. So, like, why? We
Oh,
still don't do a good we do not do a good job of tracking these people. Most of these people never get caught, never
right.
get, they're not on the FBI list,
Yes.
working, with their little gang of predators, sharing all their tips and
Yeah.
hiding out and looking for targets. And so to
Yeah.
think that the Epstein files and the situation here couldn't happen again is absolutely false. Like, it's still happening. It's happening
Yes.
everywhere, all the time, all day long.
Yeah, I often will present with a woman who was trafficked for 11 years out in California. And she's like the most common, and you and I know this, the most common type of, we know it's true of abuse, it's also true of trafficking. The
Yeah.
most common person to traffic another human is someone they know.
Yeah.
It's it's a relationship gone bad. Often, due to like extreme poverty
Yeah.
or substance abuse issues.
Yeah.
Um, but it's paying attention to your child.
Yeah.
Don't
Absolutely.
let Ghislaine Maxwell be intimate, relationally intimate with your child.
Yeah.
That's your job. That's
Right.
your privilege. Um, that's what you want to have is that relationship with your child. The one thing that's really been hitting me hard is just watching the difference between how the world is handling the Epstein debacle and America. Like
Yeah.
the world is doing stuff. They're firing people and investigating.
Yes.
Um, and we're doing nothing. So I feel like the Epstein survivors are getting abused twice.
They're getting abused and abused again. And
Once as a child and now by American society. They're not being believed and no action is being taken. And people are saying, why not? Because I literally put out a social media post that said, we had the Me Too movement.
right.
We had Jerry Sandusky's crisis. We had Larry Nassar's horrific abuse of the Olympic women's gymnastic team. We had Bill Cosby. What's the difference, Kim?
So, and we were just chatting about this. I think that aside from the fact of like the trauma that goes with reporting and disclosing your abuse, like literally people have disappeared, people have been murdered, people are missing. And so I think that it is a mix of the power and the politics that are here right now, which are truly scaring people to speak up and scaring people to show support. But I'm not scared, and you're not scared.
Yeah.
I think the more we talk about this, just in a, in a supportive tone for these women that have been through so much, I think we can make a difference. I really do think we can. But I want to give people some tangible
Yeah.
steps. We haven't gotten into the weeds. We could go into the weeds, but we're not going to. We talked a little bit about grooming and how to prevent it. We'll post some
Yep.
notes for you about some books we recommend for young children and children. But like, what can the mom or dad listening to this do to help their survivors quest for justice?
Yes. Call and email lawmakers. I'm going to give you a quick hack. I saw this. A woman who used to be a staffer for a lawmaker, and she said, I know you guys hate making calls. I hate making calls, and I feel very guilty. She said, go to your senators and your congresspeople's website and use the contact option to send an email. She goes, actually, not that many people do that. Everybody's
Mhm.
using the 5 calls app. She
Yeah,
goes,
yeah.
use the email, because then it comes into the office. We can print it out. We see it as a staffer. And because not many are coming, it kind of catches our eyes.
Okay. That's a
So
good
maybe
tip.
email or call your lawmakers and say, justice for the Epstein survivors.
Yes.
What do you think? What's another action item?
We had talked about the foundation that was founded by Virginia Soar, right?
Yes, Virginia
So,
Giuffre,
yes,
SOAR.
speak
Can't
out.
remember what it stands for, but we can link that. Yep.
Um,
Make a donation. Be so
yes, you
generous.
can make a donation, and that would be helpful. So, I'm drawing a blank. Speak, act. No, wait. Speak out, act, and I'm losing the rest of it.
The R, yeah. Right. Um, Make a fuss on social media. So I've been doing this. And I did a thing yesterday, and then you did
And I
it
copied
today.
you.
I created a social media graphic that says hashtag I stand with Epstein survivors, or I stand with hashtag Epstein survivors. And I made it my profile picture on Facebook,
Hmm.
the little circle up there. And I posted it also over on LinkedIn. And then you made one that um, you can make one. We, I think, might have used our little, stuck our little website address in there, or our social
Yeah.
media handles, but you could make a fuss however you want to do it on social media. Just share stories that look legit. There are some freakazoid stories. Um, but I would
Yeah.
always, before you post something, I would Google it. And if nothing
Yeah.
comes up on it, I wouldn't post it. I always
Yeah.
fact check.
Yeah. That's a good.
Um,
That's a good
yeah.
bit of information there because you want
So,
to be
yeah,
careful what you're sharing.
contact your lawmaker, do some posting on social media, donate to SOAR. And
Donate.
there's a couple of content creators that are putting out a lot of legit um, content on the Epstein situation.
Yeah,
I
and
love
I
Aaron Parnas.
yeah, and I mentioned Dr. Dobson, right?
Dr. Leslie
Mr.
Dobson.
Leslie Dobson,
She
yeah.
puts out great stuff about sexual predators, about grooming, and she's speaking to the Epstein story also. Then
And she's
there's
a forensic psychologist.
yes.
It's not just a person spouting off their opinion. She's trained in this, so
Yeah,
really
there's
cool.
another young woman named Monty Mater who was raised Christian nationalist. And so she has a lot to say about that. But she's recently just really talking about the Epstein situation. Um, she brought up, if you're a person of faith, I told Kimberly this earlier today. She brought up the fact that when they go and take all the evidence out of Epstein's house, one of the things they found were books by Dr. James Dobson, who had the organization Focus on the Family. So if they had a young woman who might have had a faith background, they would talk to her in the language of Christianese,
Yeah.
and they would talk to her about the importance of submitting or giving
Hmm.
or serving.
Yeah.
So they use um, faith content in
Mm,
a very, some people are calling this satanic, but definitely anti-Christian. They are using it to manipulate girls to do what they want. And there could be boys. We know that there has been, with the content that's come out about Sasha Riley, we think there could be boys that were experiencing hard things
yeah.
also.
You can see all the things that Epstein bought on Amazon.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of sex toys,
Lots of
lots
books.
the books
Lots of
about
books.
how to have a sex slave.
Or
They referred
controlling
to the
people.
girls as sex slaves. What
Yeah.
was it? What was
There were
yours?
like books about how to win a war or how to manipulate somebody. It's an interesting collection of books. They're not all what you would expect, but and then, from socks to, I mean, it's just interesting to see like up
Yep.
close and personal what this,
Massage tables. Yep.
yeah, it's just anyway.
Yes.
Anyway, well, I hope this has helped. It's helped us to talk. It's always good to talk, Diane.
If you guys have any questions,
Yeah,
if you want us to rabbit trail, bunny, bunny trail, anything, it's possible we've already done it,
yeah.
but if there are things you want to know about, let us know because we could, like Kimberly said, we could riff on this all day because we are both. This is our area of expertise. It's like we were born for such a time as this.
Yeah.
Um, this is an opportunity to talk about child safety.
It is. It's really the most important time. And kids accidentally watch the news. I have the kids in my class asking me different questions, and I you have to be very careful, I think, right now to not let your kids anywhere near the news unless you want to get into this topic and explain it, which I don't think
Yes.
you do right now. I think you want to maybe divert that and just start talking about the prevention techniques, reducing the risk, and how to really empower your family to
Yeah.
stay safe.
That is one thing that I've really been thinking. The kids are watching
They
us.
are. They are watching us. They're watching what we do.
Will America defend and give justice to these women who were once children?
Yeah. I had a little person in my class today. We were drawing and he drew a rainbow and he said, "A rainbow is God's promise." And then he said, "But not for everybody." And I was like,
Oh my gracious.
what does that mean? I didn't want to, I didn't want to dig in because I think it's probably a conversation he had with his mom, but yeah, and I work at a Christian school, so we are
Yeah.
all about, like, right now we are moving into our body safety unit soon. So I'm excited for that.
Oh,
Um
that's wonderful.
but there is so much people can do. That is the only little shining hope. We can protect and empower our families, and we can also support the survivors by taking those few steps that we mentioned.
Yeah. Yes.
So thank you,
This was
Diane.
good. I hope it was helpful. I think it was helpful.
I hope so. And just email me or Diane. We'll post our emails in the notes. Diane's website is dianetarantini.com, right?
Yep.
And I'm kimberlykingbooks.com.
Kingbooks.com. And I would say, darlings, take care of yourself.
Yes, definitely.
This is hard stuff. I
Yes.
consume, and I've been pretty strong through this because I'm so fudging furious.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what's allowed me to read this because I'm just like, I will get justice for these people. That's the goal,
We
is
have to all
just
work
not to shut
together.
up about it.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff is really, really horrible. The journal about the girl, probably girls that were impregnated,
Mm.
possibly to just give Jeffrey and Ghislaine a kid,
Uh,
possibly to be used in the future. That will break your heart.
there are so many things in these, and I've only read like 40 of them, but the things that I have read, there are things that I never even thought of before that now that I've read it, I want to vomit. So it's proceed with caution if you are going to look at these emails and if you're
Yeah.
going to dig in. That's really
Practice
important.
self-care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Diane. I'll
Bye,
see you
friends.
soon. Thank you.
Yes.
And we